Today I wanted to talk to you about something that often comes up when I'm working with couples, and it has to do with how did we get here? How did we get from where we started out, which was really awesome, where we wouldn't have created the relationship in the first place, to this place where we're kind of apathetic, frustrated, and maybe even going through the motions? That has to do with how we deal with conflict in our relationships. And so today I wanted to talk to you about how conflict can progress inside of our relationships. The first stage in the conflict cycle has to do with how complaints are raised and then how they're received by the partner. So complaints are anything that have to do with things not going well. So this can be anything from basic household chores like washing the dishes, doing the laundry, getting gas in the car, to things that seem a little bit more complex like our sex life or your parents or how we handle our money. And so what'll happen in this situation is that one person will raise the complaint of, I really hate it when you leave your dishes in the sink instead of putting them in the dishwasher. That's part of the issue inside of how conflict is raised or managed in relationships. And then the other part has to do with when the partner will say, yeah, or just shrug or nod or completely ignore the concern. Alternatively, acknowledging the concern but then not adapting the behavior. So in the not adapting the behavior or the disregarding of the complaint, what's actually the message that's actually being sent is your complaint or what's going on for you or how you feel isn't important to me. Stage 2 of the conflict cycle has to do with when the complaint is raised again. Inevitably it will be. And in this stage, the complaint is raised and then acknowledged and managed, then the problem will stop and the conflict won't grow any further and the distance and frustration between the two of you won't grow any further. However, often what can happen here is the complaint will be raised again, nothing will happen, and then both partners will add an additional layer of emotion to the original complaint, making it a little bit more hot button, reducing the experience of positive feelings between the two of you. And so this could be something like, I asked you to stop leaving your dishes in the sink and just put them in the dishwasher. Why aren't you doing that? Again, if the other partner at this point acknowledges and starts talking about what we can do for a solution, the problem will stop here. Often what will happen is they'll be like, yeah, or another version of disregarding. The behavior won't change and things will continue to escalate. And then we're into stage 3. And this is where the negative feelings that started to build in stage 2 will expand. And at this stage in the game, it's not enough to simply address the original complaint. What actually needs to happen here is the feelings, the emotions that got added to the original complaint in stage 2, that also needs to get addressed, or the tension will just continue to build. And so this can be partner A, made the request to have their dishes put in the sink. They're frustrated, they feel taken for granted. And partner B might feel like they were being told what to do or that they were being controlled by their partner. And then we're into the final stage, which is stage 4 of the conflict cycle. And in this stage, this is where the couple will continue to cycle back and forth between stage 2 and stage 3, continuing to raise complaints and then adding additional emotion and negative feelings to the situation. And what happens here, the more that the couple cycles around stage 2 and stage 3, they will continue to add those negative feelings. Those negative feelings will really start to erode, if not eliminate, the experience of positivity between the two of you, the original positive sentiments that existed in the relationship, making it harder and harder to get to the root of what's going on, what the real problem is, and also potentially making it more and more unlikely that solving the problem will be possible. This is where both partners can feel less patient with each other, more frustrated with each other, and really start to check out of the relationship. It's through situations like this that can seem reasonably benign at the beginning, leaving dishes in the sink versus not leaving dishes in the sink, that will start to kill off the relationship when the actual feelings that go along with a complaint are not addressed. And this is how people end up there in that place of, how did I end up here? It was so great in the beginning. And that's why addressing things in the beginning is so important, because after you've been having an argument about the dishes in the sink for a long time, or argument about household chores, it starts to become less about the chores and more about who the other person is, that they're lazy, or they don't pay attention, or they're disrespectful, they take you for granted, or they're controlling, they're always telling you what to do, they're bossy, they won't let you do anything on your own. That's how those sorts of feelings start to develop. And that's why it's really important to listen to those complaints, acknowledge them, and look for what you can do for solution with each other.